Nearly all the senior police officers charge-sheeted for fake encounter cases in Gujarat and Rajasthan have been reinstated by the state governments after getting bail. In the latest case, PP Pandey as ADG Law and Order will actually oversee an investigation into a fake encounter case against another officer, an officer who had helped the CBI charge him. Rohit Bhan reports.
Abhay Chudasma, GL Singhal, Rajkumar Pandyan, Vipul Agarwal, and now PP Pandey, all senior police officers accused of being part of staged managed encounters, now out on bail and reinstated into service by the Gujarat government. Mr. Pandey's suspension was revoked less than a week after a CBI court granted him bail in the fake encounter case of Mumbai girl Ishrat Jahan and Pranish Pillai, alias Javed.
As additional DGP Law and Order, Mr. Pandey will also be heading the special investigation team, which is probing allegations of fake encounter against another senior IPS officer, Satish Verma, the same officer who had assisted CBI in probing Mr. Pandey's role in Ishrat Jahan encounter case.
4 encounters which took place between 2003 and 2006 were declared fake. Several police officials were arrested and charge-sheeted. Of the 40-odd senior and middle-rung police officials, 36 are out on bail. Barring few, most of the officials have been reinstated by governments in Gujarat and Rajasthan. Rajasthan IPS officer Dinesh MN has even been promoted by the state government. Post of protocol officer in Mumbai was created by Gujarat government for another encounter accused cop Rajkumar Pandyan, since the court had barred him from travelling out of Mumbai. In Gujarat, indications that some accused cops, including Abhay Chudasma, would be promoted shortly.
For the people of Gujarat, criminals are now dressed in uniform and in charge of law enforcement duty. Is this the form of good governance? Is this the constitutional duty that the state government takes an oath to discharge?
So far, so a person is not conclusively proven guilty and he is not debarred as per the All India service rules applicable to him. He is eligible. If you don't post him, he will go to the tribunal. There is already a tribunal which decides about such cases.
But the question remains, how can charge-sheeted officers be deputed on important posts? In Ahmedabad, Rohit Bhan for NDTV.
So then, therefore, should the state governments have waited until these cases were disposed of? Should they have reinstated these officers, in some cases possibly promoted them while these cases are still underway? Mr. Jainarayan Vyas, senior BJP leader from Gujarat, is with us, and also joining us from Mumbai tonight, senior journalist Rana Ayub, someone who has covered this story in fair detail. Mr. Vyas, I'll ask that question to you straight away. Why reinstate these officers? The case is not closed. They're out on bail, but these cases are still open.
See, like any organization, the organization is governed by a set of rules. Organization is not governed by any arbitrary decision-making apparatus or any arbitrary decision-making process. So, the government, as far as is concerned, there are definite service conditions, service rules according to which the conditions of pay, seniority, pension of the officers are governed. Now, if there is anything adverse, that can always be challenged. But if there is nothing adverse, simply because somebody is charge-sheeted and therefore he should not be posted or given the benefit of regular posting, I think it is also something which doesn't meet the sense.
But
so
Mr. Vyas, just because they're charge-sheeted means what? These are people who are law enforcement officers. They are in a very important position. And may I know which service rules that you're quoting which allows you to do this? Because I have a set of service rules in front of me that says the quite opposite. So I'm just wondering what you're talking about.
No, let us go to the cardinal principle of jurisprudence, which says that if one is not proven guilty, he is innocent. So, I mean, if somebody is not proven guilty, he is innocent. Simply somebody is being charge-sheeted, that doesn't mean that he is guilty of that thing. And if one is not guilty of committing any crime or committing any commission or omission as far as a crime is concerned, I think he cannot be given a differential treatment than a normal officer.
Rana, you come into this. This is the argument that you hear the BJP giving is that none of these officers have actually been, the case isn't closed, but they've not been found guilty of anything yet. Is it fair to deny them their promotions? You've worked extensively on this story, Rana. How do you react to this?
Well, this, reinstatement of these officers is a brazen contempt of justice, law and order in this country. I wish Mr. Jainarayan Vyas had better arguments in this case. I mean, Mr. Jainarayan Vyas would be the best person to answer that P.P. Pandey, who has now been reinstated as the ADGP of the state, was declared an absconder by his own agency, by the state agency. And also, mind you, the state is a prosecuting agency in the country. So why is it such hurry by the state to reinstate all these officials till they have been given a clean chit? Same goes for Singhal, same goes for Abhay Churasama, who according to the CBI was in, there were 198 cases of corruption against him, who was involved in not just one but 3 cases of fake encounters against him. I mean, what is the hurry in this case? Why is Mr. Jainarayan Vyas and the state government in a hurry to give a clean chit to all these officers? It's not just a state agency. The Supreme Court of India has in its verdict, and when it was giving its verdict to the state officers, had said that these criminals are a part of a criminal syndicate involved in murder, conspiracy, in one of the case rape of Kausarbi, and murder of Sorabati and Tulsi Prajapati. Not just one murder but 4 murders. The Supreme Court has come down heavily on the state government. So I don't understand what is the hurry that the state government has. I mean, I am really thinking aloud. Why couldn't this wait till the trial was done with? The CBI is to be blamed equally for this because the trial has yet not begun in the case. And without the trial having begun, how is it that the state agency has given a clean chit to these officers?
Mr. Vyas, she raised the point of P.P. Pandey's position as ADG law and order, and in fact he's going to be now probing another senior officer in another fake encounter case, an officer who had helped the CBI go after him. So, there are a lot of, things that are a little odd here. How does this work?
Well, let me tell you that the officer concerned, whom he will be probing, also has similar rights. If something is not being done correct to him, he has every right, every protection under the rule to raise any objection. And if there is any directive of any court, supreme or otherwise.
Go ahead, Rana, go ahead.
Yes, you
Mr.
can.
Jainarayan Vyas, how do you conclude as something that has not been done right to him? Have you given him the clean chit already? Have you given the judgment on P.P. Pandey already? Let us take the case of DG Vanzara. Let's not forget that DG Vanzara was the person who had written a letter claiming that whatever he did was at the behest of the Home Minister of the state. Why is the state investigating agency? Why is the state government in such a hurry? Let the trial begin in the case. Let the charges be probed in this. Let the witnesses come and appear.
Yeah, no. If they're acquitted, Mr. Vyas, they're acquitted.
This is your subjective observation. My simple question to you is
no, sir,
any of these officers you are talking about?
This is criminal law and order, sir. This is what the criminal handbook says.
No, let me please know which of these officers is conclusively held guilty. Which of these officers you will say that has been proven?
They are in charge of law enforcement. They are in charge of law enforcement and they face very serious criminal charges. The point is, until there is clarity on this, on the outcome of their trial, should they be the ones who are in charge of law enforcement and law and order? I think that is the point, Mr. Vyas.
Well, I don't think that should debar the state government from considering them if the government is convinced that this is not going to affect their normal duties.
With such serious
just because there is an opinion, just because there is an opinionistic remark that this is this and this is this, there may be considerations which might have been weighed in their favor.
Mr. Jainarayan Vyas, these accused have been arrested under criminal charges for murder and conspiracy, for larger conspiracy, and not less by any lesser court, but by the Supreme Court of India. By the Supreme Court of India, Mr. Jainarayan Vyas, the Supreme Court of India has indicted. Let us take the case of Abhay Churasama. Abhay Churasama has 198 cases cases against him of corruption and phone tapping, and now you put the same man under as a SP of surveillance. I mean, what kind of law and order I'm talking about, Mr. Jainarayan Vyas?
Don't be emotional. Law and order is the subject of the state government, and the state government is competent to deal with it. Number one. Number two,
Mr. Vyas, I'm not getting emotional. It's very hilarious.
It may be to you, but number of cases where a person has walked free, absolutely free from the Supreme Court. that the charge sheet, the severe most charges levied against him are not established,
So then
not
why,
proven.
Only
Mr.
once
Vyas,
the person
why
has
that
been
logic?
acquitted.
No, but by that logic, Mr. Vyas, why did the BJP,
So
for
why
instance,
should
make
the
an
state
issue out of
government
A.
take
Raja?
your assumptions?
I'm giving you an example. Then A.
No,
Raja
like
should have
you-
continued as
like
telecom
you may be-
minister until he's convicted, right? So why demand his resignation from the cabinet? After all, he was, nothing was declared against, he wasn't charged actually. Why not wait? Why not let him continue as telecom minister? I mean, by that logic, when there is a serious charge, there is some propriety as well.
You are comparing apples with oranges in your enthusiasm. You are forgetting that the Comptroller and Auditor General of India is a different footing as a constitutional authority. You can't compare.
So there's a
this
difference
with
between
this.
the CAG and the
These are
Supreme
all
Court.
These are entirely non-comparable things.
How are they non-comparable? It's the principle. I'm asking you based on principle.
Say Comptroller and Auditor General of India as a constitutional authority has a different
And the
role.
Supreme Court is not.
His remarks make a different kind of they weigh differently.
And the Supreme Court is not.
It is not like anybody who is accused and anybody who is facing a trial. He and a person who has been pointed as somebody who has done irregularity by the Comptroller and Auditor General
Well,
of
the
India
CAG is not a
cannot
court
be placed on the
either.
same
General
footing.
and
CAG is also
Mr.
not
Jenner
a
and
court.
Vyas, I wish you had
It
some
is more
potent
than a-
arguments
it
in
is-
this,
it
and
is-
I
it is a
understand your
consti-
predicament in this
It is a
situation.
constitutional authority. CAG is a constitutional authority.
Vyas,
And what is the Supreme Court, Mr. Jenner and Vyas? What are you talking about? What is the Supreme Court of India? You're casting aspersions on the integrity, on the
Why
remarks
are
by
you
the Supreme Court of
unnecessary?
India?
Why are you with all due regards? I mean, आप Supreme Court की दुहाई दे रही है. I am asking you a simple question that if there is anything wrong, let there be a contempt of court. Every now and then, every at a drop of hat, you are giving reference of the Honorable Supreme Court. No, where is, you tell me now, you read exactly the directive of the Honorable Supreme Court. No, in that case, if you are time and again you are telling Supreme Court, Supreme Court, Supreme Court, please let me know where is the directive of Honorable Apex Court of this country.
Mr. Vyas, have you read the entire
directive? Which is the
observation?
directive relying
Mr.
upon
Vyas,
which you are
have you read
telling
the
this?
observation in the case of Amit Shah, your Home Minister, who is not the BJP president? The Supreme Court of India has said that he is a criminal and a murderer who ran a criminal syndicate. Are you in agreement with it or not? The Supreme Court of India has made this observation in the
There is
Sohrabuddin
no
charge sheet.
question
Do
of
you
my
disagree?
agreeing
No,
or
First tell me,
disagreeing.
do you disagree?
There
Do you
is no
disagree?
question of my
When you do
agreeing
not
or
disagree with
disagreeing.
this.
There is a different, you are comparing something which is totally, the remarks of the Supreme Court you are bringing into picture without going into the conclusive part of it. The judgment. Is Amit Shah held guilty?
Mr.
The answer
There has
is
been
no.
no judgment.
Vyas, one
There has
second,
been
this
no
isn't
judgment, Mr. Vyas. The trial has not begun in the case. How can there be any judgment in the
But
case?
this is about these
So-
police
so why are you-
officers
then
and Mr.
why-
Vyas
then
at the
why are you
beginning.
running
One
the
second.
trial?
Mr. Vyas,
Then
in the
why are you
beginning you
running the
cited
media
service
trial?
rules. You
Why
cited
are you
service
so
rules
scared?
for their
my-
Why are you
reinstatement.
so scared,
My
Mr.
plea is
Vyas?
that
Why do you
only.
want to placate the
My
officers?
plea is
Why
that
do you want to
only
placate
that
the
please
officers?
don't run the
What is
media
it that
trial.
worries you so much?
One second,
What
Mr.
is it
Vyas.
that worries you
No,
so
no,
much?
my
Rana,
plea
one
is-
sec.
my
Mr.
plea
Vyas,
is that
give me a
only
second. Give me a second, Mr.
since-
Vyas. You had cited service rules as one of the reasons why you were able to reinstate these officers. According to the service rules in front of me from 1969, it says that a member of the service against whom an investigation or a trial relating to a criminal charge is pending may, at the discretion of the government, be placed under suspension till the termination of all proceedings related to that charge, if the charge is connected with his position as a member of the service or is likely to embarrass him in the discharge of his duties or morals or involves moral turpitude. Now, in all these cases, of course, it says it's under the discretion of the government, but in the case of all these officers, all these descriptions fit, don't they? This is what the service rules say.
This is precisely what I am telling you. Let the courts run the trial. Please don't run the media trial. Let the courts run the trial. Let the courts in our country are competent to do their job. Please let them interpret. And
Mr.
don't
Jenner
worry
and
about
Vyas, can
the
I ask you a
subordinate
simple
officers. They are
question, please?
competent of
Okay,
defending
we've
themselves.
got the last 30 seconds. Rana, quickly wrap this up for us.
Mr. Jenner and Vyas, would you not agree with me that your state of Gujarat, declared PP Pandey an absconder? It did, right? So would an
See,
officer
that was
like
a
that
process.
does
That
the
was a
state?
process.
Yes,
That was
he
a
was declared
process
an
at some
absconder. He was
stage.
on the run. He was on the run. By that logic,
That
you
was
think thousands
a
of culprits in the
process.
country.
That was a process
Thousands
at
of
some stage.
Mr.
Thereafter
Jenner
he
and
has-
Vyas, you are
thereafter he
setting
has
a
gone
dangerous
through.
precedence. You are setting a dangerous precedence
No,
by
no,
your logic.
you don't
All
want
the
to
criminals in
recognize
this
the later
country,
part of
all
what
the
has
criminals
happened.
in this country
You
who are out on
being
bail can
stuck
take any
on the
position.
absconder.
All right,
Why
Rana
don't
and
you
Mr.
realize that later part of the story is that he went through all this process and he has been now
Yes,
not
but
it continues to
convicted
be a very,
of
very
any
contentious-
offense.
Gujarat government so scared about.
You
What is
are
Gujarat government so scared
feeling
about?
stuck
Let
on
the
It's
the
a very
law
contentious
absconder.
debate.
Why are
Rana
you
and Mr.
taking
Vyas,
it-
I have
the
to.
later part, what is
Rana, give me a
happening
second.
there?
Mr. Vyas, I have to leave it at that. You maintain that you have every right to let these officers continue in their positions because they haven't actually been found guilty of anything. I think there are serious questions that Rana and others are raising about the propriety of doing this and whether one should have waited for an outcome, especially when it comes to police officers who are looking after law and order. Thank you very much to both of you for coming in tonight on that important story. That's it on the show this evening. We'll be back tomorrow at the same time. Do join us then.